Pittsburgh Steelers fans, welcome back to another episode of what is this? This is the Scho Bro Show. I'm so confused. I don't even remember what show I'm doing because it's Monday night. What am I doing here on a Monday night? And it's very, very simple. The Scho Bro Show is here as usual. I am behind the steel curtain co-editor Dave Schofield here with my big brother Rich, who is, I'm telling you, I'm kind of waiting, making sure we're all here with YouTube. I'm not up on YouTube yet. Now it says that we're actually here with those that are live with us. Rich, how are you doing this Monday evening?
It's Monday and not Tuesday, but we can still breathe in that sweet smell of Steeler victory.
Yes, and you know what? By being the show coming at you on Monday night, it's kind of nice because we're really fresh off that win. We're really, really, really fresh off that Steelers 27-3 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, it just happened. I mean, we're talking, 30 hours ago. So for those of you that are here live on YouTube. So that's nice. That's exciting. But what's even crazier is that, what are we, 72 hours? Well, in 71 hours will be almost time for kickoff. That's how much of a quick turnaround the Pittsburgh Steelers have this week as they are getting ready to face the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday night. So, Rich, what does Mike Tomlin really wants to know? What does victory actually smell like?
Right now in my house, it's smelling kind of Christmassy because I sprayed some pine, air freshener down here.
There you go. So, okay.
Oh, sorry.
That might have been me. I might have been clicking on the wrong one.
It was skipping right when I went to click off. So all right, we're rolling.
We've got some news to go over because I feel bad because I had to watch. I'm going to have to watch The Hangover on replay because I couldn't catch it live. My goodness. This is what happens when everything goes compressed down into 1 week of action in 3 days, 4 days, if you really think about it, to get ready for this game, not just for the Steelers, but even for the website. I mean, things have been crazy today. Coach Tomlin, it's, I don't know what day of the week it is because Coach Tomlin had his press conference today, so it feels like Tuesday. You and I are here talking, it feels like Tuesday. But there's a Monday Night Football game going on right now. This is absolutely crazy. But, man, lots of stuff going on, lots of content to come out at BehindTheSteelCurtain.com, your one-stop shop for all things Pittsburgh Steelers. Whew, I had to cover some interesting stuff today. Some of, Jeff was doing and I was helping him out. Other stuff was me and he was helping out. First things first, there was some people very worried about this game taking place on Thursday because the Baltimore Ravens are dealing with some COVID-19 issues, that they had multiple people within their franchise, I guess I should say, or within the team, not necessarily players, test positive for COVID on the game day tests, that they don't get the results until after the games. And some people are like, what's the point of testing on game day if you're not going to get – the game day test is never meant to actually change what's going on with game day because you don't get the results in time. And if they use the quick method, they are not as sure resulted, if you know what I mean. So there would be more players that would have to sit out without it than otherwise. It's just the way that they have it all worked out. So there were some players personnel within the Baltimore Ravens organization that tested positive for COVID. So then it was, who is it? What's going on? They knew it was at least one player. Well, we got the news. 2 players, both played the same position. Running backs, Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins, are both going to miss this week's game because they are going on the COVID-19 list. There's another player that was deemed a close contact, and that is nose tackle Brandon Williams, who is going on the COVID-19 list as a close contact. And now normally you would say, but close contact, can he play? If the game would have been Sunday, yeah, but not with the Thursday game because of the whole 5-day thing. But when it comes to Brandon Williams, he didn't play last week due to injury. I don't know if he's going to play. I don't know if he was going to play anyway. So you got that. So then you're like, oh wow, 2 running backs. Well, remember, who's the lead? Who's the leading rusher for the Baltimore Ravens?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. He's number 1. J.K. Dobbins is number 2, but only a couple yards behind him is Gus Edwards.
Correct.
Who will be playing against the Steelers on Thursday, who, when he started against the Pittsburgh Steelers last season, week 17, that was the first time the Steelers gave up a 100-yard rusher on the season, I do believe. But still, that's still getting ahead of it. We're going to talk about that game a little bit more. We still want to talk some about the Jacksonville game, but this is part of the news. So we know that was going on. That's one thing. Then the Steelers did not release their injury report until almost 7 p.m. It's not an actual injury report. It's a hypothetical, injury report where they're estimating who wouldn't have practiced. And what did they do? They threw on 9 players that wouldn't have practiced because of a coach's decision.
I love it.
I almost think that's almost like, hello, NFL, smack, smack, smack. This is our smack in the face to you for making us have to do an injury report when we don't even have practice. So that's just
right.
9 players.
You know who else would have done that? The guy from that team up north.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he had done. So I kind of like the move by the Steelers there. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, good old Wang Harbs. That's something that we would have expected from him. Sorry, I'm looking for my one notebook because I have some very interesting things I wanted to discuss, and now I can't find it. So I'm going to have to go from memory. Woo! Okay, so that's one.
We're doomed.
We're doomed. Me having to remember. We're doomed. So that's going to be interesting to see. They've got some other guys with their. I don't even know what's going to be further down with the depth chart. I know people are talking about it in the live chat. Yes, but the big thing that the Steelers need to do this week is they have to deflate the Wang. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, you need to go back and listen to the Steelers post-game show from yesterday. That was one Brian Anthony Davis and what he was saying about good old Wang Harbs, the coach of the Baltimore Ravens. So, surprised we don't have the Ravens trolls coming in tonight. Maybe they'll be here. Maybe we'll see.
But we'll see. They might make it here, but they may not because of what happened the last time after they were here.
Yeah.
So they probably are just trying to tuck tail and hide right now.
Yeah.
Either that or they'd be looking for us on Tuesday night.
And true. And not only that, they've lost 3 out of 4. We'll get to that. Because those are some of those things. Title of the show tonight. Never take anything for granted when it's Steelers versus Ravens. So, back to the injury report. The 3 players that didn't play this past week, they kept them as the exact same thing that they said they wouldn't have practiced for the same injuries. Who knows if they would have or not. Then the 3 players that we knew were dealing with injury coming out of the game. Zach Gentry, Mike Tomlin's already ruled him out for this week. Then it was Joe Hayden with the knee and Juju Smith-Schuster with the foot, said that they wouldn't have practiced today. It'll be interesting to see if they practice tomorrow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even put too much stock in tomorrow because they usually don't practice until Wednesday on a week. So Wednesday's the day that you want to see all the players if they're really going to be ready for it. But the other thing when it comes to Gentry is that Coach Tomlin said that Vance McDonald has cleared the COVID-19 protocol with the NFL. He will be practicing tomorrow, but he has to practice and show that he doesn't show any ill side effects from having the disease and everything first before he'll be activated. I have a feeling McDonald will come off the COVID list while Zach Gentry goes on IR, and that'll probably be the move that we will see.
Yep.
But there's one more exciting piece of news. Did you see the last exciting piece of news? I had to do another. I had to publish an article tonight after 7:00. 2 articles for me after 6:30. It's crazy.
Hold on, I was reading a whole bunch of articles right before we went on. So, but I don't remember what was yours.
It's very simple. I almost wore it again, but I wore it yesterday, and I didn't want people to.
Oh yes, the color rush.
Color rush.
I saw that
jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
The Steelers are wearing the color rush Thursday night. I had a feeling they would. A lot of people hoped they would. There was some worry that they weren't going to do anything like that because of everything and not many fans in the stadium. That's another report that came out. I don't even know if we had that article up. is that there will be fans this Thursday. But there's some new things in the state of Pennsylvania that kick in on Friday that it looks like Steelers will probably not be having fans during the month of December. Friends and family. It'll be very extremely limited. So, wow, 10 minutes in and we're finally getting through the news. Rich, we breathed in the sweet smell of victory. Tell me your thoughts about that victory.
All right. My thoughts on that victory. After the first quarter, I was worried. By halfway through the second quarter, I wasn't worried anymore. And basically just cruised all the way to the end of the game.
Okay.
That's how the game was for me.
Yeah.
I was I was probably most upset in the first quarter because of how we seemed to just be dinking around on offense.
Mm-hmm.
Giving McFarland a series, handing the ball off on first and second down the one time, and getting 2 yards out of 2 runs. I was just like, come on, we're not in sync. We got no rhythm going. Suddenly then we got a rhythm going, and it was like, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
I was worried because the defense let them go down, kick that field goal the first time, but by halfway through the second quarter, I was just like, okay, defense is kicked in. We're good.
Yeah. I will be honest with you. I never really got worried. They went down. They scored the Jacksonville scored.
I won't even say worried. No. Concerned is probably the better word.
I wasn't concerned. I was a little bit miffed about the Steelers saying, it was just, I never thought that they wouldn't get it together. It was, how soon are you going to get it together? Come on. Yes. How soon is it going to come together? That's what it was with me. And they went down, scored that field goal on the first drive. And I did not get the game here. So I was watching with one Jefferson Bartholomew Hartman. And I said to him, well, there goes Bad's theory of a shutout.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. There went the shutout. But believe it or not, he was closer in the score. I picked 12 and he picked 0. So 3 is closer to 0 than it is to 12. Because we don't play Price is Right rules, although Jeff tries to force those on us sometimes. Then the Steelers, they went down, they got there, they missed the field goal. A little bit of a rough snap. They say the announcers jinx. They call who ices a kicker on the opening drive? But then the Steelers came back, got the field goal. I'm like, all right, it's all right. Because the reason it never worried me is the defense never seemed to really let much of anything go. I said it in my by the numbers article. Go ahead.
Actually, what really made me feel good in that game?
Mm-hmm.
They scored the field goal, and I called the onside kick.
The onside kick.
I was like,
yeah.
I bet they try an onside. I wouldn't surprise me if they tried an onside here. Boom. They went to the onside kick. We were ready for it. We recovered it.
Yeah.
Now, what stinks is we didn't turn that into points like we should have.
Yeah, but it should have been.
But when we didn't get caught off guard and give them the ball right back, I thought that was kind of cool. Oh, Kyle's actually, yeah. Mm-hmm. There you go. He did. I called it. I said, yep. I said, don't be surprised if you see an onside kick here. Boom, there it went.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 seconds later.
Mike Tom wants to know if it answered when you called it. Yep. So I wasn't overly concerned. The defense was doing what they needed to do. I said this in my By the Numbers article that ran this morning. It's there on the website. It's far down because it ran earlier in the morning, and there's been so much content out there today. You'd have to go looking for it. But the Jaguars ran 2 plays in the red zone the whole game. Yep. 2 plays where they got to the Steelers red zone. Now, the Steelers didn't run very many plays in the red zone either because they were scoring their touchdowns from – well, technically, I guess that was a red zone touchdown to Ebron because it was at the 20.
No, that one – I don't think that one counted.
It was 20 on the – it was a 20-yard touchdown, so that'll be interesting to see. I don't know if you have to be on the 20 or inside the 20.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But that one – no, when I looked up after the game –
because Claypool's was out.
Benny Snell's was in.
Benny Snell's was in. But that was almost a Deontay Johnson non-red zone.
Correct.
Because, he came up. Boy, that was a nice catch. That really was.
Yes, it was.
Good focus. But not only that, the Steelers, for the rest of the game, after they got in the red zone. And that's when they ran 2 plays. The second of those, the first play was a 1-yard run.
Yeah.
The next play in the red zone, Alu bats the ball up in the air. Minkah Fitzpatrick intercepts it right around the goal line, and he returns it out to around the 40.
So, 39-yard line.
And by number 39.
When that happened, that's when I knew we had the game.
Yes. So when he does that, they don't get to the red zone again. And in fact, they only get in Steelers territory for 3 more plays in the rest of the game. They moved into Steelers territory. Then there was a penalty. Then there was another penalty, blah, blah, blah. Couple plays. There's a penalty in the Steelers, 2 penalties in Jacksonville, and then the Stephon Tuitt sack, which Jeff thought was hilarious, that Tuitt knocks Hayward off of him. So Tuitt gets the whole sack rather than them share it, because that was pretty good. And that took them back across midfield. That was the only time they crossed midfield the rest of the game. I said it in the post game. I felt like the Steelers kind of lulled their fans into a blowout. You think that's an accurate statement? That,
well, I don't. It's close. It wasn't so much that they lulled us into a blowout, but you think about, a blowout where you go up huge to begin with. We didn't. Although we were on the verge of the blowout by halftime, we didn't start that direction until into the second quarter.
Yep. Well, they didn't score in the first quarter. The Steelers did not score in the first or third quarter. They scored 17 points in the second, 10 points in the fourth. That's just what it was. So
when we didn't get more points at halftime, before halftime, when Ben threw the pick in the end zone, which I was like, the only thing that was another one. I said to Kyle, I was just like, we've got points as long as Ben doesn't throw a pick here.
Mm-hmm.
And he threw a pick. I was like,
yep.
And at first I was really mad. We needed this point. And then I really looked and I was like, it is 17-3.
I mean, think about it. They're like all the Steelers, 27 points. You do realize that the only road game where they've scored more points was the 28 against the Ravens. They haven't hit 30 points on the road. And they were a missed field goal away. And then that interception from even just being a field goal, that could have been 33 right there. Right. So very, very interesting. Very interesting. So I felt that once again, the running game didn't come out and explode, but it was much improved over the previous weeks. But it's so funny because some of those were James Conner just having to do his own thing. What do? They go to run the wide toss to the left where he's going to lose 5 yards.
And he goes on Marcus Allen.
Right.
He went on Marcus Allen on us.
Yeah. Yep.
Spun it around back to the right and gained 11 yards.
Yeah. So that was fun. Like that was fun. So, hey, I'm going to do something. Unless there's anything else you want to say about the game, Terrell Edmonds, 2 interceptions. Got to love that. Minkah with
that was
2.
The best because,
a lot of people hated on him. I kept saying all year, he's playing well.
I always go in before the game and read, Brian Anthony Davis's bold and bizarre predictions.
Did you realize he was talking about himself with the Kylo Ren helmet?
I did.
I did because of the BJ Finney pants. But I said, Brian, there's going to be a lot of people that don't know what you're talking about.
No, they do not.
But that's okay.
The tight fitting inside board pants.
Yep.
So, yes, I knew he was talking about himself this week versus the week before when he's talking about Jeff. Yeah. So, but I was reading that, and when he kind of was like, "Yep, Terrell Edmonds will get his hands on the football, but he won't complete the interception." And then he turns around and gets 2. I was like, "Oh!"
Well, it's funny because people are like, "Oh, that first one was a gift. It was an overthrow right to him." Yeah, you know what? But you still got to catch it. The second one, I said to Jeff, I'm like,
play.
That was all him. He went up, hit the ball with the one hand to tip it to himself, caught it, and there he goes. That was nice. Do you remember this? These were his second and third career interceptions. Do you remember what game was his first career interception?
You're probably going to say one you and I went to together,
Nope,
but I don't remember. Okay,
I remember it. I'm pretty sure, and someone will correct me if I'm wrong in the live chat, I'm sure. But if I remember correctly, it was in the Vance McDonald stiff arm Monday night game against the Buccaneers.
Oh,
yep,
very well could have been.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. That's what sticks out in my brain, because I remember when he made the interception, I commented about how fast he returned the ball, because he really did, just get upfield with the ball, which was really nice. So I'm sure someone will tell me if I'm wrong in the live chat, but I'm going to go that one was right until then. Guess what? I don't get to do a Steelers Stat Geek audio podcast only before the next game because of having to condense everything down. I told Jeff, I said, I'm taking one for the team. I said, that's game day. We can bump Stat Geek to another time and run the pregame show there or whatever we needed to do with podcasts. I said, it's okay. But therefore, I have some numbers to talk about, but I wrote some of them down, and apparently I must have left my notebook upstairs because I can't find it anywhere. So I'm going by memory. Okay.
Way to not be prepared.
Oh, I was prepared. And that's what.
No, you're not.
Well, that's what
you're really
frustrates
prepared.
me
You'd have the notebook.
Is that I sat down and did this work, and now I'm going with my brain. But this one's easy. You ready? Are you ready?
Go for it.
There are 39 players in the NFL entering Monday night, because the Monday night game's going on. 39 players in the NFL entering Monday night that have 500 or more receiving yards. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the only team with 3 of those players.
3. Yeah.
They have 3 players over 500 yards. Now, tonight, Tampa has 1 going into tonight. That's Evans. So they need like 80 some from Goodwin. Is he playing? I'm so focused on Steelers, I don't even know who's playing.
I didn't see if
he needs 80 some. He needs 80 some. And who's the other guy? Scotty Tuhati. Now I can't. Scotty something. He would need 80 some.
Is that Miller?
Yeah, I think that's right. I don't know.
Something like that.
He would need 80 some to get to 500, and Gronk would need 125. They would need 2 of those guys to get that tonight in order for them to get to 3. And then the Rams only have 2 guys. They have 1 that's over, 2 that are anywhere close. They're both in the 80s. It's Cooper Kupp's already over. It's Woods, and I can't remember the other one. They would both have to get 80 yards each tonight, both of them, in order for them to go over 500 yards to have 3 of them. So it's still a possibility, but right now it's just the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wait a minute. Who on Los Angeles is over already?
Kupp is already over. And I got over 100 yards tonight.
I was going to say he's already got 109 tonight.
Yeah, but it's Woods. It's Jefferson Jr. is the other one. I just saw the box score to know that's the other one. He would need 80 some. So that's pretty interesting. Thaddeus is saying The Notebook is his favorite movie. I mean,
really?
No, I don't believe that at all. So,
well, maybe if it was your notebook, Dave.
Yeah, my notebook, because man, it's got some real nerdy numbers in it. So
Godwin is playing, or Godwin, whatever he is playing tonight.
I think it's Godwin. I think I said it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was an interesting stat. Here's another one. How do you think the Steelers play on Thursday nights?
Sorry, I remember last year's Thursday night game, and I'd rather forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. The Steelers overall on Thursday nights, this is not going to instill a lot of confidence in people. They are 11-14 total ever on Thursday nights. Now that goes all the way back to 1980, and they have an awful lot of losses before the year 2000. Let me count these up. 7 of those 14 losses were before Kevin Colbert. The Steelers, no joke, Thursday nights all time. Then they didn't play until 2006. So before 2006, so it's 1980 to 1999 on Thursday games. Now it's funny, they're not all Thursday nights. Some of them actually, Thursday, Thanksgiving Day games. So just on Thursdays in general.
I was going to say,
the infamous 16-19 overtime loss in Detroit in 1998.
The infamous coin flip.
Yeah.
That now we have the Jerome Bettis rule.
Exactly. So the Steelers before 2006 were a whole whopping 1-7. So that means they are 10-7 ever since. Now, so you're like, that's okay. But you know what's a little bit more important than that? How are they at home? Well, they've got a loss in 1995. And that's one of 2 losses that they have at home on a Thursday. Otherwise, they have 8 wins. They had 2 in 2006. Because sometimes these are week 1 games, after being in the Super Bowl. So they had 2 wins in 2006. So then if you want to talk about under Mike Tomlin at home Thursday night, the Steelers are 6-1. Now that one loss they have was the game I infamously like to refer to as the Scobie debacle, which was that week 4 game on a Thursday night at home against the Ratbirds, where the Steelers, they had like a 99% chance of winning that game with 3 minutes left, and they just blew it, ended up losing that in overtime. I mean, and that wasn't even Ben Roethlisberger playing in that game. That was Michael Vick. So I don't think Ben Roethlisberger's never lost a Thursday night game at home. Just like Ben Roethlisberger,
my favorite Thursday night game at home. You know what my favorite Thursday night game at home was, right?
Let's see it. The Dilly game we were at. The Dilly game we attended. That was in 2017 against Tennessee. And not only that, put up crazy points. The last 2 times the Steelers have played at home on a Thursday, how about 40 points in 2017 and 52 points in 2018? That's when they went crazy on the short week at home.
Hit somewhere in between those 2 on this Thursday, and I'd be quite happy.
And even looking at how they just have done recently on Thursdays, not just looking at home, they've done very, very, very well with Ben Roethlisberger. They lost last year without Ben Roethlisberger. They won the previous 3 years, one of which was in Indy on Thanksgiving night.
They lost last year. Wait a minute. They lost
last year on Thursday in Cleveland.
And
didn't
we play 2 then last year?
No,
Thursday?
No, because remember, you're thinking that they opened up against the Patriots, but they did that special 100-year game on Thursday. That was the Packers and Bears.
That's right.
And then they had the Super Bowl crowning on Sunday nights.
That's right.
How that one worked. But I mean, honestly, Ben Roethlisberger, if you're not talking about like week 1, because the Steelers in 2015 lost in week 1 there, then you have some other things in Baltimore where they've had some rough times. In all, Ben Roethlisberger, I'd have to look at it. Forget the road wins. He's never lost at home on Thursday night, and he's never lost wearing the color rush jersey, because the only loss they've had in it was against Buffalo last year, which was no Ben Roethlisberger. So, and we all know that Ben Roethlisberger is the straw that stirs the Steelers drink. So that's just some fun, interesting number stuff I wanted to throw out before we dive too much into stuff going ahead, which that was kind of a little bit going ahead. Anything else you want to do to wrap up the first half of the show? Anything else about Jacksonville 10-0? Anything about that?
No, other than it really looked like a Big Ten team playing a MAC team on. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Before we go into the next half, we've got a couple super chats we got to bring up here because I've kind of slacking on that. First of all, we have $2 in the tip jar from John Knox. Thank you very much. He says, I like that Ben and company seem annoyed after every game. Before we went on for the Steelers postgame show, Jeff was saying, uh-oh. I'm like, what's wrong? He's like, Ben's not happy. What do you mean? He's giving really short answers in his postgame press conference. He's not happy. I'm like, good. I like that Ben's not happy. They won 27-3 and Ben's not happy. That's a good thing. That is a good thing. So the Steelers are not – what's great is they're enjoying the ride, but they're not content with it. That's a great thing to be right now. So our other super chat is from Felicia. Hey, Felicia, with $5 into the tip jar that she says, well, I didn't even pre-read this one, but I know it's Felicia, so it's got to be fine. What would be so awesome is us beating Bell for the AFC and us winning the Super Bowl against Mr. 3rd and 5th with Brady in tow. Yeah, that would, you know what? Tonight, when I finally go to bed, which will actually be tomorrow morning because I have so much work to do for the website, I'm sure that before I wake up tomorrow morning, that is probably, that is probably something that's going to be going through my head. Those are some great dreams. But you know what? As great as it sounds, to beat the Le'Veon Bell now with the Chiefs, Mr. 3rd and 5th now in Tampa, what would be even better is going to be beating the Baltimore Ravens on Thanksgiving night. So, Rich, we're going to close this one off. If you're on the audio side, get ready to click over to part 2. We'll be right back with you. For those of you on YouTube, hold tight. We'll be back in a few seconds for part 2 of the Scho Bro Show. And we are back, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, with another edition of the Scho Bro Show. It is Monday night. We're a little bit fatigued here. I hope you all aren't getting podcast or YouTube fatigue after having to listen to Brian and Tony earlier. If you're back on here with Rich and I. Rich, how's it going?
Still breathing.
Still breathing.
You know what? I want to be able to do that Thursday evening, after, my house still smelling of turkey and just breathe that in real deep.
Yes.
And make it 11 straight.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, that's you're exactly right. Hey, I did catch something, a question. It scrolled past now. That had a question about Avery Williamson getting some playing time.
It's right here.
He did do some playing against on Sunday. I was actually maybe seeing if I could bring up precisely
Jeffrey's article.
Well, Jeffrey's article that says this. It could be Jeffrey's article, but I know I saw him a couple times. I turned to Jeff and said, "I can't
remember if it was 9 or it was either 9 or 11."
Yeah, I mean, you've got to know the system, and I'll be honest with you, he is as much an insurance policy as anything else. I would like to get to see him play more. I think we'll see it eventually, but we'll see. We'll see when. But,
hold on, we got another question came up here that I want to address real quick. So Dallas says, could Williamson replace Dupree if we lose him next year? The answer there is no. Williamson is an inside linebacker. The replacement, if we lose Dupree, is already on the team, and his name is Alex Highsmith.
His name is Alex Highsmith. That is correct, because Williamson is an inside guy, and Williamson is not under contract for next year. This was kind of a one-year rental thing, but who knows? You never know what the Steelers are going to do, how they're going to work stuff out. Yeah. So, yep. So, Rich, Thursday night football. Last year, I did this whole big spiel about how the Steelers had the advantage going into Thursday night because they had veteran coaches preparing. I did a whole statistical analysis of how rookie coaches don't do as well on Thursday nights and everything else. But I did not take into account the quarterback situation for the Pittsburgh Steelers, which kind of fell apart.
And you didn't take into account, Myles Garrett ripping his helmet off and bashing him in the head with it.
That was after the fact. That was after the fact. So, this is going to – I don't want any Thursday night flashbacks coming with Steeler fans because the last time they played on Thursday, it wasn't. Yeah, but this is different. This is color rush uniforms at Heinz Field on Thanksgiving. And we all remember the last time the Steelers and the Ravens faced off with the Steelers wearing the color rush uniforms on a holiday.
That would have been Christmas.
Of what?
Right?
2016? 2016, because it was 2017 they played on Christmas the next year.
It was the year before I moved back here to Maryland.
There you go.
2016.
And so that was, the immaculate extension, the catch that saved Christmas, however you wanted to call it. That was a great, crazy game. Won them the AFC North. Now, I'm doing some numbers, crunching. I have to figure it all out. That's one of the articles that I have for hopefully tomorrow on the website. With the Steelers, they cannot clinch the AFC North with a win on Thursday, but they can eliminate the Baltimore Ravens.
Correct.
Because they would be up 5 games with 5 to go and have the head-to-head tiebreaker. So they can eliminate them. Now, it's still a long shot for the Ravens because I'm going to do some magic numbers is what I'm going to be looking at. So, some magic numbers of these things. So that should come out hopefully tomorrow. If not, we have so much content we're getting out there. We'll see when we can get it. So just because it's close enough that I don't want the Steelers to start clinching things without saying what they need to clinch stuff. There is a small chance they could clinch a playoff berth this weekend. They would have to win, and both the Dolphins and Raiders would have to lose. No, the Dolphins play the Jets, so that's a tall order there. But you're talking about week 11. Sorry, week 11 just happened. You're talking about week 12, and you're already talking about the possibility of something like that. So don't worry about that. The Pittsburgh Steelers just need to win, because if they keep winning, everything will fall in line. But you got to remember, never take anything for granted when it's the Steelers versus the Ravens. So we're going to get into that. Got another super chat here. I'm going to see I don't know if it's OX or Ox. I'm going to say OX. But it's Occam's OX. Or is it Occam's Ox?
No, it's OC Cam's OX.
No, it's Occam's, because it's Occam's razor that they say from the movie.
Occam's, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what they say.
So then Jeff always says it wrong.
Yes, Jeff always says it wrong.
Okay.
Because it's Jeff. So he's allowed to say it wrong. I'm the one who's supposed to butcher the names. Hey, where'd he go? He says Ox. Not OX. Ox. Oh, so it's Occam's Ox. Okay. He says, I'll be the representing Steeler Nation. Here we go. The Steelers are going to smash Baltimore. Here we go. Hey, I'm glad that you're able to go. Like I said, this looks like it'll probably be the last time this season that the Steelers have fans in the stadium, unless things change for the playoffs, but we don't know how the playoffs are going to work with that. So we need you. Occam's Ox. We need you to make so much noise. You have to make the noise for all of BTSC and all of Steelers Nation. You've got to do your part, and I'm sure.
Right, and we're going to be terrible towel in each hand, right?
Yep. What would be even better, except I don't know if you can make as much noise, if you can get 3 going, hold one in your teeth and, whip it around, but then you can't make as much noise. So that's all right. So, and he says he'll be the loudest man in the stadium. So there you go. So why can't you take anything for granted? And well, let's look at things you could take for granted in this game. What's something you could take for granted in this game to think, oh yeah, the Steelers are going to get this? Do you have any? I kind of have a list in my mind. Do you have any idea where I'm going with this?
No, I have no idea where you're going. All right.
So. One, Steelers are 10-0. They already beat Baltimore in Baltimore.
Yep.
They should be able to beat them at home. Don't take that for granted.
No, don't ever take that for granted. Do you know how many years we've split with Baltimore and we've each won at each other's house?
That's been happening more recently, which was crazy. So don't take that for granted. And remember, you wanted to at least split with Baltimore. You got the win in their place. So to me, I'll be honest with you, Steelers fans, I'm pulling for the Steelers. I think the Steelers are going to win this game. This is a bonus game. They've already got their split with the Ravens. This is the dagger game, then. This is the game where you can stick in the dagger. But, you know.
That's exactly what I thought after we beat them the first time.
Yeah.
As soon as we finished that game, I thought, the best they can hope for is to split with us.
Exactly. So, but don't take that for granted. Another thing don't take for granted. They've lost 2 straight, and I'm pretty sure it's 3 out of the last 4. Don't take that for granted. I actually did not think they would lose to Tennessee after losing to New England. But like I said on the post-game show, I never went and checked because I didn't care enough to check it. But I was curious if Wikipedia had, under the Baltimore Ravens page, if it had, father or daddy as the Tennessee Titans. Because man, 2 years in a row in their stadium. Last year ended their season. This year put a big hurting on it because now the Ravens shouldn't be worried about. They're not trying to beat the Steelers to come back and win the North. They've got to worry about everything.
They're trying to beat the Steelers just to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Yeah. Because, I'll say this. The magic number for the Steelers when it comes to the Ravens and the division is 3. The Steelers need, and that's not even counting tiebreakers. Okay? Because that's how I'm going to be looking at some of these and say, too many tiebreakers to go into the equation right now with 6 games remaining for everybody. Just look at how many wins you would need or losses by the other team. Magic number when it comes to just the Ravens is 3. If the Steelers win Thursday, the Ravens lose Thursday, they get that tiebreaker, which acts as another game. That's your 3. They couldn't pass them. They could not pass them with that.
Right.
So that's a big thing. Don't take it for granted. The Ravens dealing with COVID issues, missing a couple running backs. Don't take that for granted.
No, especially after the guy that's going to start.
Yeah,
what we saw him do against the Steelers last year.
Even if he was out too, I still wouldn't take it for granted. Okay.
No, we'd give up 600 yards rushing to Lamar Jackson.
All I have to say, 2 words. 2 words. Ryan Mallett. 2015, the Pittsburgh Steelers come into the game. What is it? It was the next to last week of the season. I think it was week 16. Coming into the game, 9-5, 9-6, something like that. 9-5, something like, yeah. 9 wins. The Ravens, I think they had 4 coming into the game. Ryan Mallett starting for them. And the Steelers can't take care of business in Baltimore. I was at that game. Not happy with that game. That was ridiculous. That was D'Angelo Williams was running, and it was just, he had 2 touchdowns, but it was just things just never came together for the Steelers, and they lost to. They were heavy favorites in Baltimore in that game because Baltimore was having such an awful season, and they still didn't win that game. So don't take for granted the color rush. Don't take for granted that it's at home. Don't take for granted any of these things because we know when the Pittsburgh Steelers face off against the Baltimore Ravens, all bets are off, right? Look, last year you had Mason Rudolph starting the game, getting knocked out, coming in with Duck Hodges, and they still almost pulled off that win. It took it to overtime. And, it's one terrible roughing the passer penalty from winning that game in overtime or without overtime. So let alone what we know happened after that. So take nothing for granted. You kind of agree with that?
I do. Here.
It says, I'm grateful for playing it all. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't take the fact that the game's going on. Don't take it for granted.
Yeah. Although they kept announcing Thursday night game still on with the stuff going on with COVID with the Ravens. But some people were seriously wondering, is this game going to happen Thursday? Are they not going to be able to have enough players or a problem with the facility that they're going to have to move it to Sunday or Monday? But it was one of the local beat writers. I wish if I could remember who it was, I'd give him credit. But they said this game, these 2 teams, NBC, Thanksgiving night. This game is huge ratings wise. I mean, it's huge. For the same reason that CBS was not going to give up the Steelers Ravens the last time they played. So there it is. This is not a trap game. Steelers are favored. That article I have running tomorrow, favored by 4.5 points. But it's not a trap game because it's the Ravens. You don't have to worry about the week afterwards because you're going to have that little mini bye. All the focus now is on the Ravens. And even today, Coach Tomlin, something was said to him about, the Ravens, their backs up against the wall and they're desperate because if they don't pull off wins, they're going to possibly miss the postseason. And Coach Tomlin, 10-0 team, he's like, we're desperate too. And if they think that we're not, don't underestimate that. Is basically what he said, is that the Steelers, I mean, they're still not getting a lot of respect from places. For the first time ever, when I went to look at the odds of the game, the Steelers were number one in the power rankings, according to the betting website that I was looking it up at. I mean, before they adjusted them from this past weekend, they were ranked behind the Ravens, power ranking wise, even after being 9-0 and the Ravens coming off a loss in New England to a team with a losing record. The Ravens were still higher in the power rankings. So keep going with that disrespect. So, Rich, what are you thinking? No, we're not looking for your prediction yet. How do you see this game going down here on Thursday? What do you think is going to be the most important thing?
Honestly, for me, the most important thing for the Steelers, honestly, is to come out of it without any major injuries because it's Baltimore.
Yeah.
It will be just like the last game against Baltimore. It's a black and blue fest out there.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of hitting. It's going to get chippy. Yeah. Better have your head on a swivel.
Mm-hmm. The Steelers have had to go up against an unconventional play every game in the last 3 weeks. You talk about the punt return throw across the field in Dallas. You talk about the fake punt at Heinz Field that came from Cincinnati. You talk about the onside kick in Jacksonville. You think Baltimore's desperate enough to do something like that?
Oh, yeah. Maybe not early where it could cost them the game. But if they're down and, if they don't have momentum in the game, they'll try something to get it back.
Yeah. And they are not afraid to go for it on fourth down at any place on the field. I mean, I could see them like on their own 30 going for it on a 4th and 3 and crazy stuff like that. So I expect something like that. You've got to be ready for it. But it's so funny because when the reports came out of everything being with COVID and who, didn't know what players it was, I almost put this out there to the BTSC staff, but I didn't. I didn't do it. I held back, but I'm going to tell you and tell everyone on YouTube. So I might as well have just said it to them anyway. I hope it wasn't Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
because
I didn't want that either.
I'm telling you, this Steelers secondary, unless he's changed a whole lot of what he does, they know what to get him to do to not make the right read. If you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
I think he is more trickable. That's not even a word, but more trickable into throwing an interception.
If this was baseball, because you were the football coach, I've always been the baseball coach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If this was a baseball game, Lamar Jackson tips his pitches, and the Steelers get an advantage.
Yeah. Yeah. That's honestly same thing when it came to playing who that team in Baltimore really is, and that's the Browns. Whenever that happened, I kept saying, I don't want Case Keenum to come in for Baker Mayfield. I think the Steelers can exploit Baker Mayfield. Now, Lamar Jackson runs the ball great. He really does. But I also think that do you think they'll turn him over? I mean, he had 4 turnovers against them last game. A lot of people think that was the difference of the game. It really was. Do you think they do it? Do you think they can do it again? Do you think the Steelers can get him to make those costly mistakes?
4 of them, I doubt it. 2.
Okay. This is also a different Baltimore Ravens offensive line too.
And one of them will be caused by our line, because I feel that when Lamar Jackson goes to scramble, he is very careless with the football.
Yeah. He's focused more on reading where he can go and what he can do and how he can juke to try to pretend like he's going out of bounds and then get more yards.
And he'll do something where he makes a move to get away from one guy and not see, he'll be trying to get away from Dupree and not see TJ coming around the backside swinging that arm to knock the ball loose, or something like that. So
I haven't been following the live chat much, but I have to bring up this one. It's from Occam's Ox again. He says,
he's just killing it tonight.
Yeah, he's killing it tonight. Desperate doesn't always equal dangerous. Plenty of times, desperation leads to major mistakes. That's a really good point. But that's the thing. Are you willing to know? Like when the Cowboys threw that ball across the field, there were so many things that could have gone wrong with that. But are you willing to take the chance?
A desperate team is a fine line between dangerous and self-destruction.
Yeah.
That margin is razor thin. Occam's Ox.
Yeah, there you go. So, the Steelers just gotta, they gotta play hard. That's something that Jeff and Brian give me a hard time about, because I said that's what they need to do.
There's something I'm interested to see in the next couple of days, though. Sorry, I've been thinking about this for a while, and I'm just going to bring it up. Okay? If the Steelers were the team facing the loss of a couple of players for COVID for this game, what would we hear from Coach Tomlin? Mike Tomlin, you're out there in the live chat. What would you be saying?
Yeah.
Well,
first of all, Mike Tomlin already said, I remember the last time I was desperate, I fell off my dinosaur. So that's one that he's already saying about desperation. You know what you would say?
He'd say next man
up. We're here to play. This is the NFL. This is the challenges we knew that were going to be the 2020 season when we signed up for this, back in July. We've been preparing for this moment all season, and just because
our guys are ready.
Yeah.
Next man. Yeah, we'll be getting our guys ready. They know who they are. They'll be playing.
Yeah.
Are we going to hear that from? Are we going to hear that from Wang Harbaugh this week?
I don't know, because he already spoke, and he confirmed. That's how they found out the Brandon Williams. I didn't listen to it because I've been so busy, like I said, trying to keep my head afloat with writing articles, because I don't know if it'll be ready for tomorrow. I have my part of it done because I have to do my part to hand it off to Jeffrey. But we've got a good Steelers Vertex coming for you. I hope it's Tuesday. If not, you'll get it on Wednesday. You want to know what our Steelers Vertex is this time?
What's that?
The Steelers receivers and their ability and why. Jeffrey's got to do the film to tell me why. I just gave the numbers, and he actually gave me some of the numbers to get me started with this and gave me the right website, which really helped, of drawing pass interference penalties.
Yeah.
Especially one, Mr. Chase Claypool. So I have my own theory as to how it's going to go. I'm going to wait till we see his film so we can get to the point with it. But that's something to look forward to at BehindTheSteelCurtain.com. Rich, we're getting close to the end, and I'd like to give everyone some time to – I hope everyone minds that we don't do the questions, that instead we do your scores. Don't tell me your scores yet. But we got to do our prediction. And what's crazy is, normally we're doing this on Tuesday for a Sunday game. So you're giving it, 5 days in advance. This one, we're a day earlier. We're on Monday. You still don't know how to feel. You still don't know much about any injury report or anything, but you're only 3 days away from the game. So we're going to have to say, what do we see? Steelers are favored by 4.5 points. Rich, are you ready to give your prediction for Thursday?
I'm ready.
Sorry. So, what is your prediction for Thursday night score?
Steelers 31, Ravens 24.
31-24. That sounds it's interesting because 24 is how many the Ravens scored the last time they played the Steelers. So you're saying the Steelers get an extra field goal for being at home and they give up the same amount of points as they did last time. That's going to be interesting. So people are starting to put them out there. I'm not going to click on them.
Nope, because you didn't ask
now
for
that
them
you
yet.
see the word scores, right now it's thinking. I hit enter and it hasn't showed up yet. There it is. It's in the live chat. So now anything after that, I'm going to be, oh, there's Kyle. He was waiting for it. He's got 31-27. He has each team scoring an extra field goal from the last time. So there you go. Thank you very much, Kyle. Okay. Steelers Chick 46, Steelers 24, Ravens 17. Okay.
Holy cow.
Ryan O'Toole, 27-20 Steelers. Black and gold goggles, 26-17. Says go 11-0 and nail in the Ratbird coffin. There we go. Thaddeus going 26-24 Ratbirds on a Tucker field goal. So hey, I don't mind. This is one that could go either way. I'm not going to give you a hard time. You need to be honest about it. Okay, you ready? How
Thaddeus,
about
we're no longer friends. I just kidding.
You're not. No, Thaddeus, we are no longer friends because your favorite movie is The Notebook. Sorry, Robert. I'll mess up your last name. Steelers 38, Ravens 20. We got Cree coming at us with the 29-13 Steelers. And I just had a great big jump of the live chats. Here we go. Okay, thank you. 27-21 is on this Thanksgiving pick app. Okay. 21-24 Steelers from Hector Hernandez. Here we go. Dallas Quinley, 27-17 Steelers. Okay. Is that Tariq there? Tarek or Tariq? I'll say Tarek. 28-24. He's going with the same scores last time. Okay. Mike Tomlin.
Oh my gosh.
That's smell of Vic Turkey.
Yeah, a Vic Turkey. Oh my gosh.
The smell of Vic Turkey. Smell of Vic Turkey. All right.
Good. Well, we win. I'm coming to that'll be the smell next week.
There you go. Steeler fan 74. Haven't seen you in here very much. It's great to see you back. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're feeling all right. 27-16 for the Steelers. Okay. David Gingrich, 27-20 Pitt. Okay. Occam Zoc says 30-21. Christopher 11, 17-24 Pittsburgh. You say if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. 19-0, baby. Okay. Ryan Kellerman, 34-27. Okay. Richard McKinney, 35-28 for the good guys. See, that's an interesting score. Like I said, the Steelers have put up their most points on home Thursday night games recently. Felicia's got 28-9. Ooh, that's a bold one. That is a bold one. Okay, Mark Tobin, you got 28-20 Steelers. Double HH, Steelers 30, Turkeys 13. Okay. Oh, here we go. Mark Davison,
one of the blokes
from down under. Hey, and that was terrible this time. But you know this. I don't know if you caught this or not on the Touchdown Under podcast this past week. It's on audio only. Comes out on Saturdays this past week. He talked about our accents. You and I.
Did he? I didn't get
are at the top of the power rankings. We're top of the power rankings. Okay. He says Bad's towards the bottom. And he says Jeff is disqualified just for the whole notion of the whole Jennifer Lopez thing, which is something he got off of the Tonight Show from years ago. They don't get it. They don't understand what that is. And therefore, Jeff fired Mark Davidson on Saturday after I brought this up. So that's why he talked about our former podcaster in the post-game show.
Yes, that was hilarious.
But here's Mark. Steelers 37, Ravens 17. Ben 5 TDs, 2 to Connor. Ben lays down the steel hammer. You know, the Steelers don't have any touchdown receptions to running backs this year. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
No touchdown receptions to running backs this year. So Jerry Cherry Band 24-17, and that's the great music you hear when you listen to those audio podcasts. Okay. Comes at us from Jerry Cherry Band. LOL Kixie, I don't know. 31-17 Steelers. Reginald Rivers, 27-14 Steelers. And I just got skipped again. Okay, there we go.
Next one.
I got to catch up. 9-8 something 5309X. 17-9 Steelers. Michelle Powers 27-10 Steelers. Kyle Smith 34-20 Steelers. These are Steelers, of course. I think I had Dallas's already with 27-17. Wes, hadn't seen Wes's. I like this one. I'm starting to think this 42-17. Like in the high scoring game at home on a Thursday. Okay. Some of these, like I said, are people that have done them in here before, so I'm trying to find ones. I don't think we heard Austin Jet 28-17. Okay, deal with it. Deal with it was the one that was in a roll last year. 32-13 Steelers.
Okay.
I remember that 32. How do you get to 32 very easily? Got to think of that. You know? Because you know that 29 is kind of elusive, and that's a field goal more than 29. How
you miss an extra point?
You missing it? Nah, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do those kind of sacrilege. Don't even mention such a thing. Okay.
Well, you're saying, how do you get there? I'm just telling you how you can get there.
Yeah, we're not going to say. We're going to say it's a safety. How about that? We'll go with the safety.
Or that one too.
Okay. AJC 24-10 Steelers. I think we're getting most of everyone's in here. Some people are throwing out some of their other stuff. Solarverse 30-19 Steelers. Okay. Snowman says 23-20 Steelers. He wants a game-winning 35-yarder from Boz. Okay. Gimme Thunder 28-13. Another fourth quarter appearance by Mason. That I like fourth quarter appearances by Mason.
So do I.
I do. Okay. Here we go. Do you see any more scores that jump out? There we go. Dusk Thunder. Steelers 28, Bumbirds 21. I don't have to make my prediction until tomorrow night. I can't believe that's tomorrow night. Okay. Most important thing. What's the Steelers' number one thing that I want to see happen? Could they eliminate the Ravens from the AFC North? Absolutely. Could they continue to go undefeated? Absolutely. Gonna love all those things. But the thing that would be sweetest of all is to deflate the wang. Okay. That's what it all comes down to. You got to deflate the wang. You got to take that wang harbs down a notch. Okay. Got to see how that's going.
I hope these people watch the post game.
Yeah, because if you didn't watch the post game or listen to the post game, you have no idea what they're like. What are these guys talking about? But that's one Brian Anthony Davis.
And if that's Brian Anthony Davis at post game, I can only imagine what he'd be like at 2 a.m.
I had a great comeback for that when he said that, but I don't think it was appropriate. It was along the lines of
now you're going to go there. Be careful.
4-hour side effect, if you know what I mean.
Oh, gee whiz.
Which would have been a really good one. But we want to thank you all for sticking with us this long. Let's go get that victory on Thursday night. I'm pumped. I'm excited. I'm going to wish away my Thanksgiving just to get to that game. But you know what? I also want to not just breathe in that sweet smell of victory. I want to breathe in that 10-0, baby. 10 wins in 10 games.
Yeah.
You can't come off of that.
Steeler Nation has never seen that. It's so awesome.
Yep. I know. So we're going to be smelling that victory on Thursday night. Gotta love that one. That was a really good one, I have to admit. Rich, this isn't sending us off. Any closing thoughts?
3, 2, 1, WIN.
There you go. We got to get that win. Real quick, just programming note. Tomorrow night will be the preview. Tuesday night will be the preview. Wednesday night will be the Know Your Enemy on the regular night and time. Thursday night, you're looking at a very late night post-game show. And then Sunday, at some point on Sunday afternoon, we're going to have another show that would fill in normally when the post-game show would be. Not at the exact time it would be, but just kind of to have that content. Not sure exactly what we're going with there. We'll maybe have a better idea Thursday night about that. But then we will be back to a regular schedule when it comes to the live shows the following week. Some people are like, why don't we get a hangover on Friday? You know what? You'll get your hangover on Monday again. And we'll be back in 8 days from now. 8 days from now. So, and the audio stuff, as long as you're subscribing to BTSC on your audio platforms, it's just going to be there. It's just going to be there. You're going to have pregame show. You're going to have your injury reports. Let's Ride still Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Live Mike will still be coming out Tuesday morning, and all those things. Stat Geek will occur over the weekend, probably Sunday, just to make everything a little bit easier. So love this. Great time. Great. Just love spending time with you, brother, and with our great Steeler fans, our Steeler family. Here we go. 10-0. Let's get this going on Thanksgiving. What do you have to say about that, Rich?
Can't wait.
See you all next time.